Hey there, friend. Have you ever woken up in the morning, shuffled to the kitchen and thought, where did all my energy go? Maybe you used to bounce out of bed ready to tackle the day, but now it feels like your get up and go got up and left without you. I get it. After 65, it's easy to feel like time's playing a little trick on us, slowing us down when we're not quite ready to take it easy. But here's the good news. You don't have to settle for that. Those creaky joints, that foggy head, that sense the day's half over before you've even started, it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, with a few simple tweaks to your morning, you can feel sharper, stronger, and, dare I say it, younger than you have in years. Now, I'm not talking about running marathons or chugging kale smoothies at dawn, unless that's your thing, of course. No, what I've got for you today is something much easier, something you can start doing tomorrow morning without breaking a sweat or your budget. We're going to walk through 5 morning rituals that folks over 65 are using to add years to their lives. Not just in the calendar sense, but in how vibrant and alive they feel every single day. These aren't complicated, they're not expensive. And trust me, they're not going to make you feel like you're auditioning for some fitness infomercial. They're just practical, down-to-earth habits that science and real people swear by. So grab your coffee, or tea if that's more your speed, and let's chat about how to make your mornings work for you, not against you. Let's start with the first ritual, because honestly, it's the one that sets the tone for everything else. Picture this. Your alarm goes off, or maybe you're one of those lucky folks who doesn't need one anymore. And instead of groaning and hitting snooze, you do something so simple it almost feels like cheating. You reach for a glass of water. That's it, just water. Now I know what you might be thinking. Water? Really? That's the big secret? But hear me out, because this isn't just about hydration, though that's a big part of it. After a long night of sleep, your body's been working hard, repairing itself, keeping everything ticking along, and it's thirsty. You wouldn't let your car run on an empty tank, right? Same deal here. A glass of water first thing wakes up your system, gets your digestion moving, and even gives your brain a little nudge to shake off that morning haze. I started doing this a couple years back after my doctor mentioned it offhand. She said, "You'd be amazed how many folks over 65 are walking around dehydrated and don't even know it." I thought she was exaggerating, but I gave it a try. Just a plain old glass of water. Sometimes I'd squeeze a little lemon in there if I was feeling fancy. And within a week, I noticed I wasn't dragging myself to the bathroom mirror like I used to. My skin looked a bit brighter too, which was a nice bonus. There's science behind this, you know. Studies show that even mild dehydration can zap your energy, mess with your focus, and make you feel older than you are. One from the University of Connecticut found that older adults who stay hydrated have better cognitive function, meaning you're less likely to forget where you parked the car or what you came into the kitchen for. And it's not just me. My neighbor Doris, who's 72 and swears she's got the energy of a 50-year-old, says her morning water is her elixir of life. She keeps a pitcher by her bed so she doesn't even have to get up to start the day right. So how do you make this work for you? It's easy. Keep a glass or a bottle on your nightstand before you go to bed. When you wake up, before you even think about coffee or breakfast, take a few slow sips. Aim for about 8 to 12 ounces. Nothing crazy, just enough to tell your body, hey, we're up and running. If plain water's not your favorite, toss in a slice of cucumber or a splash of juice. The point is to make it yours, something you look forward to. And here's a little tip from Doris. She says it's like giving your insides a gentle wake-up call, like opening the curtains to let the sunshine in. It's so simple, but it's the foundation for everything else we're going to talk about. Now, once you've got that water in you, you're ready to ease into the second ritual, and this one's a game changer, especially if you've been feeling a little stiff lately. I'm talking about moving your body, but don't worry, I'm not about to suggest you start doing jumping jacks in your pajamas. This is about gentle, intentional movement. Think of it as a way to say good morning to your muscles and joints without overdoing it. You know how sometimes you wake up feeling like the Tin Man from The Wizard of Oz, all rusty and creaky? That's your body telling you it needs a little love. And the good news is, you don't need a gym membership or fancy equipment to give it what it wants. Here's what I do. And it's so easy you'll wonder why you didn't start sooner. After my water, I stand up, sometimes right next to the bed if I'm still half asleep, and I do a few slow stretches. Nothing dramatic, just reaching my arms up like I'm trying to touch the ceiling, then bending side to side a bit. Maybe I'll roll my shoulders or twist my torso a little, like I'm peeking over my shoulder at something interesting. Takes about 5 minutes, tops. And let me tell you, it's like oiling the hinges on an old gate. Suddenly, everything moves a little smoother. My friend Tom, who's 68 and still golfs every weekend, swears by this too. He does a little routine he calls his morning wiggle, just a few arm swings and leg lifts while he's waiting for his coffee to brew. He says it's why he can still swing a club without wincing. There's real science here too. Research from the American Heart Association says even light movement in the morning can improve circulation, lower blood pressure, and keep your joints from stiffening up as the years go by. Plus, it gets your blood flowing, which means more oxygen to your brain and muscles. Translation: you feel more awake and less like you need a nap by 10 a.m. And the best part, you can do it your way. If stretching's not your thing, try a slow walk around the living room, or even some gentle arm circles while you're brushing your teeth. The key is to keep it simple and consistent. 5 minutes of movement to tell your body, we're not slowing down yet. I remember the first time I tried this, I was skeptical. I thought, 5 minutes? What's that going to do? But after a few days, I noticed I wasn't hobbling to the kitchen anymore. My knees didn't crack as much, and I felt ready to take on the day instead of just surviving it. It's funny how the smallest things can make the biggest difference, isn't it? And that's what these rituals are all about. Little changes that stack up to something big. So you've got your water waking you up from the inside, and that little bit of movement loosening you up on the outside. Now let's talk about feeding your body in a way that doesn't just fill you up, but actually fuels you for the day ahead. I know. Breakfast sounds like one of those things we've been hearing about forever, right? Most important meal of the day, they say. But here's the thing. After 65, it's not just about eating something to stop your stomach from growling. It's about giving yourself the good stuff, nutrients that keep your energy steady, your mind sharp, and your body humming along. And trust me, this isn't about choking down some tasteless health food you'd rather feed to the dog. Let's be real for a second. Mornings can get away from us. Maybe you're used to grabbing a piece of toast and calling it done, or skipping breakfast altogether because you're not hungry yet. I was guilty of that for years. Coffee and a muffin were my go-to, and I'd wonder why I felt like a deflated balloon by noon. Then a friend of mine, Linda, who's 67 and still volunteers at the library twice a week, let me in on her secret. She said, it's not about eating a lot, it's about eating smart. Her morning ritual, a bowl of oatmeal with a handful of berries and a sprinkle of nuts. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But that little combo is like a power pack for your body. The oats keep your blood sugar from spiking and crashing. The berries are loaded with antioxidants to fight off the wear and tear of time. And the nuts? Well, they're like a little gift to your heart and brain. I gave it a shot, and I'll admit, I wasn't sold at first. Oatmeal sounded like something my grandma would have forced on me as a kid. But I jazzed it up a bit, threw in some cinnamon, a drizzle of honey, and whatever fruit I had lying around. And you know what? It stuck. I started noticing I wasn't starving by 10 a.m., and I didn't have that foggy feeling where I couldn't remember if I'd locked the door. There's science to back this up, too. Researchers from Tufts University found that folks over 65 who eat a balanced breakfast with fiber, protein, and healthy fats, like Linda's oatmeal trick, have better energy levels and even lower risks of things like diabetes and heart trouble. It's not about eating a big feast, it's about picking something that says, hey body, I've got your back. So how do you make this work for you? You don't need to copy Linda exactly, though I'll tell you, her oatmeal's pretty darn good. Start with something small that you actually like. Maybe it's a slice of whole grain toast with a smear of almond butter and a banana on the side. Or if you're a yogurt fan, toss in some walnuts and a few slices of apple. The trick is to get a mix of fiber, protein, and a little healthy fat. Think of it like building a tiny team that keeps you going strong. And if you're not a breakfast person, ease into it. Even a handful of trail mix with your coffee is a start. My buddy Jim, who's 70 and still tinkers with his old Chevy every weekend, swears by his grab and go, a little baggie of nuts and dried fruit he keeps by the door. He says it's why he can still crawl under that car without feeling like he needs a nap after. The best part? It doesn't have to be fancy or take forever. 5 minutes to throw something together, and you're setting yourself up to feel good all morning. It's like putting the right fuel in the tank. You wouldn't pour sugar syrup in your car and expect it to run, right? Same goes for you. Give your body something real, something that lasts, and you'll be amazed how much pep it puts in your step. Now, once you've got that breakfast in you, you're ready for the next ritual. And this one's a little different because it's not about what you do with your body, but what you do with your mind. I'm talking about taking a moment to breathe. Not just the in and out we do all day without thinking, but a real, slow, intentional breath that calms you down and clears your head. I know it might sound a bit out there, like something you'd see in a yoga class with folks half our age, but stick with me. This isn't about chanting or sitting cross-legged on the floor. It's about giving yourself a tiny reset that makes everything else feel easier. I stumbled into this one by accident, honestly. A few years back, I was having one of those mornings where everything felt overwhelming. Bills to pay, a doctor's appointment to remember, and the dog chewing up my favorite slipper. I sat down on the couch, feeling like I was already behind, and I just took a deep breath, then another. I wasn't trying to meditate or anything fancy, I was just trying not to lose it. But after a couple minutes, I felt lighter, like the fog had lifted a bit. Turns out there's a reason for that. Doctors say that slow, deep breathing can lower your stress hormones, steady your heart rate, and even perk up your mood. One study from Harvard showed that older adults who do this regularly have less anxiety and better sleep. Two things we could all use more of, right? My sister-in-law, Carol, who's 69 and runs a little gardening club, swears by this too. She does what she calls her porch breaths every morning. She steps outside with her tea, sits on her swing, and takes 10 slow breaths while she listens to the birds. She says it's like hitting a reset button. Whatever's on her mind, from grandkids to grocery lists, just feels more manageable after that. And Carol's no pushover. She's the type who'll tell you exactly what she thinks. So if she says it works, I believe her. Here's how you can try it. After breakfast, find a spot where you won't be interrupted. Your kitchen table, your favorite chair, even your backyard if the weather's nice. Close your eyes if you want, or just look at something calming, like a tree or a photo you love. Then breathe in through your nose for about 4 seconds, slow and easy, like you're smelling fresh-baked cookies. Hold it for a second, then let it out through your mouth for 6 seconds, like you're blowing out a candle but not too hard. Do that 5 or 10 times, whatever feels good. That's it. No special gear, no rules, just you and a few minutes of quiet. The first time I did it on purpose, I felt a little silly, like I was pretending to be some Zen master. But by day 3, I was hooked. I started noticing I wasn't snapping at the telemarketers as much, and my afternoons didn't feel like such a slog. It's funny how something so small can shift your whole day, isn't it? Carol says it's like giving your brain a hug, and I think she's onto something. It's not about fixing everything. It's about starting your day with a little peace, so you're ready for whatever comes next. So you've got your breakfast fueling you up, and those slow breaths calming you down. Now let's talk about something so easy and pleasant, you'll wonder why you haven't made it a habit already. I'm talking about stepping outside for a little sunshine. That's right, just a few minutes of natural light in the morning can do wonders for how you feel, inside and out. It's like nature's way of saying, hey, I've got something for you, and it's free. After 65, we sometimes forget how much good the sun can do, beyond just warming up our bones on a chilly day. This is about giving your body a boost that keeps you ticking along stronger and happier. I started doing this after reading something about how sunlight helps your mood. I'd always thought of myself as a morning person, but I noticed I was feeling a little blah some days. Nothing major, just a sense that the spark was dimming. So one day, instead of sitting inside with my coffee, I took it out to the porch. I stood there sipping away, letting the sun hit my face for about 10 minutes. Didn't do anything special, just watched the squirrels argue over an acorn and listen to the world wake up. And you know what? I felt different, brighter somehow. Not like I'd just downed 3 espressos, but like my whole system had clicked into gear. Turns out there's a reason for that. Sunlight tells your body to make vitamin D, something a lot of us over 65 don't get enough of, and it helps set your internal clock so you sleep better at night. Plus, it kicks up those feel-good chemicals in your brain. Studies from the National Institutes of Health say even 10 to 15 minutes of morning sun can cut your risk of feeling down and keep your bones stronger too. My pal George, who's 71 and still mows his own lawn like it's an Olympic sport, swears by this. He calls it his sunshine fix. Every morning, rain or shine, well, mostly shine, he's out there with his dog, just soaking it in. He says it's why he doesn't feel like he's slowing down, even when his knees try to tell him otherwise. And George isn't one for fluff. He's the guy who'll fix your leaky faucet before you finish asking. So when he says it works, I listen. He told me once, "It's like charging my batteries. I don't need a pill for that." How do you make this part of your morning? It's the easiest thing yet. After your breakfast and breathing, step outside for a bit. Doesn't matter if it's your backyard, your balcony, or just standing by an open window if getting out's a hassle. Aim for 10 to 20 minutes, longer if it's cloudy, but don't overdo it if the sun's blazing. No need to stare at it like you're in a staring contest. Just let it wash over you. Maybe sip your tea, water the plants, or watch the neighborhood wake up. If you're like me and live where mornings can be chilly, toss on a jacket. I've been known to shuffle out in my slippers and bathrobe, looking like I'm auditioning for a retirement home sitcom. The point is, it's yours to enjoy however you want. And if you're worried about skin, a little sunscreen on your face does the trick. Vitamin D still gets through and you're covered. The first week I did this, I couldn't believe how much it changed my day. I wasn't just awake, I was awake, ready to tackle the crossword or call up a friend instead of wondering if it was too early for a nap. It's funny how something we've had around forever can still surprise you with how good it feels. George says it's like the sun's his morning buddy, and I think he's right. It's there for you, every day, ready to lift you up. Now let's think about what we've covered here. That glass of water kicking things off, those gentle stretches waking up your body, a smart breakfast keeping you steady, a few deep breaths to clear your mind, and now this sunshine to tie it all together. These aren't big, flashy changes. They're little moments you can weave into your morning without turning your life upside down. But here's the magic. They add up. They're like pennies in a jar, small on their own, but over time, they turn into something you can count on. I've seen it in myself, in Linda with her oatmeal, in Carol with her porch breaths, in George with his sunshine fix. We're not chasing some fountain of youth here. We're just giving ourselves a shot at feeling good day after day. And that's what I love about this. It's not about being perfect or doing it all at once. Maybe tomorrow you start with the water and see how it goes. Or you take your coffee outside and let the sun do its thing. Pick what feels right for you and build from there. Because at our age, it's not about how many years we've got left. It's about how much life we can pack into them. Small steps like these, they're how you keep the good stuff coming. I mean, who doesn't want to feel a little more energy, a little more zip, maybe even a little more like the you who used to dance around the kitchen or chase the grandkids without a second thought? So I'd love to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Have you got a morning trick that keeps you going strong? Drop it in the comments. I'm always up for learning something new, and I bet everyone watching is too. And if you like this, give that little thumbs up button a tap. It helps more folks like us find these ideas. Oh, and hit subscribe if you haven't already. I've got plenty more where this came from, and I'd love to keep chatting with you about living our best lives, no matter what the calendar says. Here's the bottom line. You're not just getting older. You're getting better, wiser, and tougher than ever. These rituals, they're your way of telling the world and maybe yourself that you're here for it every morning, ready to make the most of it. So go on, give it a try tomorrow. Start with one, see how it feels, and watch how it grows. Here's to waking up with a smile, feeling strong, and knowing you've got years of good days ahead. Because if you ask me, that's what living after 65 is all about. Grabbing every moment and making it yours. Here's to you, my friend, and to living your best life at any age.